Hi, everyone. Welcome to Late Night with TrevisMichelle. How is everyone doing? I thought I'd pause and do something a little bit different. I can't do things the same way all the time. I walk by the beat of my own drum. I want to give you an opportunity to get your beverage of choice, to sit back, take off your eyelashes. Now, me and the guests, we're not going to take off ours because we got to look cute on camera. But I need you to be comfortable, enjoy yourself. Make sure that you're in the comment section because this is interactive. You may not be on the screen, but I do see your comments, and I'm going to shout you out because everybody needs to be shouted out. And I want to thank you for being a part of this broadcast. If you have not signed up to StreamYard, I will not be able to see your comments as to who you are. So you'll have to put your name in the comments so that I can shout you out. Hey, Angelique, I see you. Thank you so much. And we have someone else on here too. Hello, kings and queens. I am TrevisMichelle, international bestselling author of Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine. I am also a confidence coach. Let me tell you something. Guys, I have started out, I was the divorce strategist, women empowerment. But as you grow in your business, you niche down and you have more clarity. And you have to be comfortable with the movement because we talk about mindset to mind shift. So I had to be open. And with the help of also my online coach, Angelique Monnier, I have this online course coming out, and confidence coach, because people are constantly saying, you sound so confident. You're always confident. What do? You have to listen to your audience. So what I wanted to do is not really what you guys needed and wanted. So I am the confidence coach. I help women gain back their confidence one step at a time. How is that one step at a time? The WALK. W, be a willing participant. A, actions, take action steps. L, love yourself. And K, kick butt unapologetically. And I walk you through that signature method that is mine. In addition, I'm also a speaker. I'm going to be on the Women's Summit, Success Summit. I am excited about that. So is our guest. You will be seeing promotional marketing, information on my social media pages. And you can find me Instagram, at TrevisMichelle. LinkedIn at TrevisMichelle. I'm still working on that one. So when you get there, it's going to look like what you put up there. But I'm working on it. Okay. We all have to start someplace. I need you to subscribe on YouTube at TrevisMichelle. I'm excited about that. And of course, Instagram at TrevisMichelle. If you want to have a consult with me, get a 15-minute discovery call, DM me at my Instagram. You can also email me at info@TrevisMichelle.com. See, I'm all the same all the way across the board. You can always find me, find out where I am. So with that, I want to share with you a little bit about what the ugly side of the backstory is. You see, it's Late Night with TrevisMichelle, but the premise is ugly side of the backstory. Ugly side of the backstory is being able to tell your story from your challenges and the journey that you walk through to get to your success. It's great that we can say, oh my goodness, you're a multimillionaire, you're on television, you're a speaker, you're successful at whatever it is, your business, your job, right? You've been an overcomer, you're an overachiever, you're a Thrivor, all of this. But we want to know, what did you do to get there? What were those steps? Because when I'm going through and looking at the end step, the end game is not helping me get to that end game. But when I say, oh my goodness, you had children, you had a husband, you had a boo, you went through a breakup, a divorce, you had to travel, you had all of these other challenges, but this is what you did and you still made it. When I'm going through my challenges and you're going through yours, it gives you that energy to keep going. So with that being said, we have, let me tell y'all, now, I say every guest is special because all of my guests are special. Okay. I'm just saying, but I know these people. So this queen is called Dr. Yolanda Jerry, and we all call her Dr. Jerry, but she's an advocate. She says advocacy is centered at the heart of every philanthropist. A Black woman and philanthropists come out to the same sentence, right? We don't think of that as being a Black woman or Black people that we can be philanthropists. She says, echoing that notion at its finest is a diversified professional. Like I said, the wonderful, the unique, the dynamic Dr. Yolanda Jerry. Dr. Yolanda Jerry is a five-time, listen, 5 best-selling author, speaker, business guru, and CEO and founder of YJ Empowerment Solutions, LLC, and YJ Inspires, a multidisciplinary advocacy program invented to help clients push beyond their past traumas and elevate to the next level, both personally and professionally. Affectionately known as the Empowerment Advocate, Dr. Jerry is reputed for her innate ability to exhort multi-generational audiences through her powerful and relatable messages as she passionately advocates for truth, healing, resiliency, and personal growth. Adding to her philanthropic capacity, Dr. Yolanda Jerry is also a retired Air Force veteran, and we thank her so much for her service, and co-founder of Bridging the Gap Transitional Age Youth Program. As a highly respected member of both local and national community, Dr. Jerry has been featured and headlined in well-respected publications. One of Dr. Jerry's most celebrated features was an article she wrote called "The Day I Decided to Leave," a compelling survivor's testament so impressive it was chosen by highly respected serial producer and screenwriter, drum roll, y'all, drum roll, make sure you're paying attention, Shonda Rhimes. That's right, I said Shonda Rhimes, to be displayed in her online storytelling periodical column called Shondaland in 2020. Without further ado, we are going to add the wonderful, dynamic Dr. Yolanda Jerry. Hi, Queen.
Hey, Travis, how are you? Oh my God, we are again.
Yes, we are. Oh my goodness. Let's see. David is here. Rita Green is here. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. Guys, make sure that you share this video out. And those of you who are here with the replay, thank you so much for watching, and comment below and share out anyway. Okay. So Dr. Jerry, look, I'm just like, look, just take it over. Dr. Jerry has her own show. I have been on her show, so I'm sitting over here with the guru. All right, I'm just like, okay, y'all know I can talk. But Dr. Jerry, what made you become an entrepreneur? What led up to you stepping out and saying, I am a businesswoman, I am a company, I'm going to do this thing myself as a Black woman?
Well, Travis, let me just be honest. I've always been a servant leader, right? And been a servant, always serving in the military, because I'm retired Air Force, aim high. So shout out to my aim high Air Force people and the rest of my military folks. But I've always served people. And then on top of that, I've always been an advocate, right? I've been an advocate since 2005, since the Air Force started its first advocacy program for sexual assault. So fast forward to 2015, um, that was around the time my dad first fell sick. And also during that time, I was thinking about becoming an author, and so when that happened, um, my dad fell sick, I took some time away, and he was like, okay, well then maybe this isn't the time. But in 2017, I was presented with the opportunity again to become an author. Someone tagged me in a post on Facebook, and it was about um, domestic violence abuse, right? And people know that's all I've been advocating for a very long time. And so I had enough courage to say, you know what, I'm going to take this leap. But even still, during that time, my dad was still sick and he was getting worse. And I remember sitting in the hospital, him and I having these conversations, and he was like, because I was going to give up. I was going to pull out of the book, because my dad was very, very ill. So he was a priority. My parents are a priority to me. And so he said to me, Yolanda, in so many words, because I say it so much, I always, I'm a paraphrase, but he basically told me, he said, Yolanda, no matter what you have a passion for, I'm going to be here. So in other words, to me, that meant Even if he wasn't here, he still was going to be here with me in spirit, and he still was going to be cheering me on. So by him speaking life into me in his last days, that led me to one, continue to push forward with going with the book, being a part of that book project. But then also when my dad passed, that also pushed me to birth my business in memory of my dad. So my business was, basically born and birthed because of my dad leaving here, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, he was still a part of everything that I was doing.
Wow, thank you. And you know what? That's one of the best things. People that have such a powerful impact on our life, and we can. You're sharing your dad with us. Thank you. So he lives on. He's
Hmm.
not here physically, but he lives on. His legacy lives on, and he lives on through you. So that is so wonderful. And to see a Black woman in the Air Force, and the fact that they were starting to talk about domestic violence, that's huge, because the
Hmm.
military is not known for even acknowledging that anything goes wrong at any time, because they don't want to have their hands messy. So the fact that you went in on that. So now you speak from the position of being I call a thriver, right? So uh, what happened that you decided to write that book that I decided to leave?
What happened when I decided to write that article, or you mean be a part of the book project?
Be a part of the book project.
Um, it was time for me to, again, my dad was always pouring into me. And like I said before he left here, he was like, don't stop what you have a passion for. I'll always be here. So that meant in everything that I wanted to do. He knew that I wanted to tell my story. He knew that I wasn't going to be, I was vocal, but I wasn't as vocal. So the best way for me to start was to start by putting it in a book so that way I can get comfortable with starting to talk about it more and more publicly. So, um, yeah, it was just my dad, really. If it wasn't for him talking to me, I don't think I would have done it.
Right. So, what do you do with your advocacy for other women? How do you help them when they're going through domestic violence?
Um, Listen, right? One of those biggest things is listen and not judge. That's the biggest piece about being an advocate for someone when you're helping someone who has been a victim of domestic violence or who has been a victim of any type of trauma. You have to be willing to listen. And so listening to that person, giving them the help that they need, whether it's the resources or um, providing them places where they need to go, helping them with their exit plan, because a lot of them don't have exit plans.
Right.
And just being able to keep them in a safe space where they feel like they have someone that they can talk to.
And do you share? Well, first, I'll be remiss if I do not share Dr. Jerry's partner. Um, Y'all, if you're on her page, go to her Facebook. You know that they are doing some wonderful things. They are teaming up with as couples, helping other couples to learn to love, to grow, to communicate. And that is Pastor Frank Henderson. Woo woo! He's in the house. And when we have our kings in here, we always acknowledge our kings, because yes, as women, we are Mother Earth. As Black women, we are powerful, we are unstoppable. But when we team up and collaborate, either from a relationship of intimacy or friendship or business with a Black man, man, there ain't nothing nobody can do with us to us. Okay. So I just really wanted to make sure I shout him out. Mavis is saying wonderful. Adriana, thank you for popping in. Davida, we have Andrea who popped in. I always like to just kind of say hi to people, because it irritates me when I'm on shows or when I'm watching shows and they don't acknowledge their audience. And I'm like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So why aren't you at least shouting people out?
That's
Mavis,
right.
like I said, she says wonderful. Brenda Babs Young says good evening. I'm just so excited. Look, yes, you will notice that there are tribes in here. There's a Dr. Jerry tribe. There's the TrevisMichelle tribe. I have my Tilted Crown Squad in here. Rita Green, who I'm going to shout out. You see my beautiful graphics? And y'all need to go over, because we're going live with my website, www.trevismichelle.com. That's because of the beautiful, wonderful, talented Rita Green. She has Go Fig. So we're going to put your website down so we can contact you. I just want to show it out because we have business women on here and businessmen on here, and we need that. How do I get a website done, that's ethical, that they're not going to take my money and then have me looking jacked up? Because I had one and she was like, yeah, no, let me just go on and let's work together. I was looking hot to the messes, you know what I mean? But it's so important to have your tribe on here to support you, and we need to get that story out. So what was, and share, if you will, what was that breaking point for you to say, I've had enough and I'm leaving? Because that's a lot of times with women, don't, we make excuses. It's going to get better. We're hoping on hope, and know the next time, or if I do the right thing, or we blame ourselves. But what gave you the strength to say enough is enough?
You said what or who gave me the strength to say enough is enough? That was nothing but the Most High. But
Amen.
as far as what triggered me to say enough was enough, um, I would have to say it was two things really. Because it was a two-step process. I always tell people this was a two-step process because one time I was ready to go, but I still stayed. But the next time I was ready to go, I actually left. And so the first instance was with my daughter, screaming at the top of her lungs, or maybe what that was the second time. The first time was me having a fractured rib, black eye, bruised ribs, walking around hurt, but still looking like this strong person, walking around hurt, going to work, but looking all glamorous at work with all this makeup on my face. I don't wear a whole lot of makeup, as you can tell. Like right now,
Right.
I put on lipstick I put on just for your show,
Thank
but
you.
but I learned how to put on foundation. I learned how to put on eyeshadow. I learned how to put on concealer and all those different things, and went to work looking like the Air Force's next top model. And then somebody was like, red flag, something ain't right about this sergeant. And so somebody reported me to my first sergeant and had them, told the first sergeant that something wasn't right about me. I didn't look right. And I got called into his office. And when I got called into his office, he was just basically like, Sergeant so and so, what the hell is going on? In so many words. And for me, um, everything just came out. Tears. I couldn't say anything, or anything like that. He basically was like, "Here, just wipe your face." And as I was wiping my face, I felt all that shame. I felt embarrassed. I felt hurt. I felt a whole bunch of emotions, right? So that was one of the first. That was one instance, and then of course, my daughter. She never saw anything that happened between her dad and I, but when she did, that was the first and the very last time, by her screaming at the top of her lungs, standing in the doorway, seeing what her dad was doing to me. So it was just those two. When I had time to sit there and think about those two instances, it was like, you know what? I'm picking up this phone. I pray to God that this lady that I call, she helps me. She
Right.
helps me with my daughter. And thank God that she did.
Wow. And I commend you for having the strength to do that. People don't realize when you're in an abusive relationship, whether it's physical, financial, emotional, sexual, there are different types. We always just key in on the physical, but there's several types. It's not easy to walk away because you blame yourself that there's something, and especially as we in the Black community, we're supposed, as women, we're supposed to be doing everything right, and you didn't pray hard enough, you didn't do, it's always something that's us,
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking at, no, that's not my stuff. And it's okay to leave. So I'm just glad that you have people around you. One, we know is God, because that's our foundation and our rock, but
That's right.
that He brought people in your life that were able to help you and did not judge you, because sometimes we stay longer because somebody else makes us feel ashamed. Well, you ain't
Oh,
giving
yeah.
enough time, and you're married, you're supposed to cleave. And I don't know anywhere in the Bible it says I'm supposed to be beat up and
Right.
abused, right? So you are an inspiration. Rita Green, how she was saying, I did post up so people could see it, but she says Dr. Jerry is a wonderful listener, especially when we are emotionally abusive to ourselves internally. She is the empowerment advocate. But
Oh,
the
she
thing is that,
knows. I'm telling you, I will snatch. I promise you, I will snatch you up. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. And Rita knows. It's like, You know, I've had several conversations with her, and one thing about me is I'm not gonna let you sit in your pity. You cannot sit in your pity, because when you sit in your own pittiness, that's what I call it, then you're not fully operating in the things that you should be doing. Your business suffer, your family suffers, and everyone that you're connected to suffers. So why would I let you sit there?
And let me tell you guys, Jacinta, thank you so. She's co-author of Saving Lives or Fighting for Mine. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm gonna tell you one thing. When I speak to Dr. Jerry, one, she snatched my edges, and y'all know I have my hair cut and everything, but this was before I had my hair cut. But she would snatch the edges. She is fun, but she plays no games. For instance, I knew I had to send my link to her early. I had to get my stuff and be on point, because she's like, "Oh, I didn't receive it yesterday," and I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute, you hear me?" And yes, my family's from the South. I said, "Wait a minute, not wait a minute." I said, "Wait a minute." But she really does hold you accountable, and you need people in your life that will hold you accountable and won't allow you to sit in your mess, because it's comfortable sitting in my mess sometimes. It's comfortable. It's, I put on my little coat and everything, you have that fluffy robe and it feels good. So having someone like you to advocate for women. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
So for, well, YG Empowerment Solutions, my business, that's what I do. I just, encourage women along their healing journey. Sometimes it's one-on-one, and sometimes it's in a group setting, depending on who I'm talking to. But also, I also am now I recently got the a VP position for this organization called Jubilee Haven, and it's for human trafficking. So I'm excited about that, because people don't understand that there's a lot of people who have been human trafficked and gone through domestic violence, sexual assault, but by the hands of people they don't know. So I
Right.
will still be operating, in my purpose, even in that facet too as well. But I'm excited about that. So not only am I doing my advocacy work in my business, but I'm also able to still serve in the capacity of working with a nonprofit.
Wow. Brenda says Dr. Jerry keeps it all the way real with us. She keeps us on our toes and cheers us on and pushes us to the fullest. And she does. Now, the other thing Dr. Jerry does.
Wait, hold on. Let me put her on the spot, because she knows
Oh, okay.
Brenda know. I mean, that's true. And so now that Sister Leaders Conference is over with, I'm gonna need Brenda to go back to getting them wigs done. So if you need a wig, Brenda Babs Young is the one to go to get that wig done for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Brenda, you need to put your site, please, in the comment section, because when people have the replay, they need to know, oh, well, she talked about it, but how do we find you? So anyone that has a business too, I'm really encouraging you. I don't know if people do this, but I'm doing it, because we all need to be able to live wealthy and have generational wealth and support each other.
That's
Put your
right.
business in the comment section, please, so that we can find you, so that we can support you. So, because I may not need it, but y'all know I've been wearing my wig. For now, I'm into my little natural and everything. But at any point, I'm a Black woman, I will snatch a wig up. So we need to know where to go to get our quality hair so that we can look good all the time. But one thing Dr. Jerry did not tell you, she is, when you look at graphics. So I met her originally, I think it was the Level Up Summit. And I was a speaker with Kern Cherry, Queen of Butts and Seats. You want visibility. When I tell you, you work hard, she will get you all over the place on a billboard, magazines, podcasts. You'd be so tired, and it's all virtual, and you still be tired. But she gets you out there. And I had to do a recording. So I did my first recording. And remember, I was talking about divorce at that time, because that's what I thought I was. And then Dr. Jerry recorded me for the Power Up, because I said, you know what, I'm not going to record it. I don't want to do the techie. So she was like, oh, I'm out. Don't worry, I'll do it. And she complimented me, which she doesn't even know. And I'm telling you now for the world to know, because we're also on YouTube. You encouraged me and you said the person that recorded now and the person that recorded earlier for Level Up, I see your growth. And the fact that you supported me and you were on point. I was engaged. So you grow. And it is nice when another woman gives you a compliment. So when people say that we don't compliment each other, that's a bunch of crap. That's what they do to keep us down. But to have another woman, especially a woman who looks like me, to say, you did a good job and I see your growth, it means so much. So I want to publicly thank you for that encouragement, because it really, really boosts me and admits so much coming from you. But the graphics on this is what I'm getting at. Okay, you have to have ambassadors for this. She's in charge of the ambassadors. She makes sure you put out, your marketing. She does graphics. She's amazing. In fact, that's how I was connected with Rita Green from Go Fig, because she's like, yeah, you need your website and you want to do a show. Well, you got it. And I was like, okay. But being in that circle, and that's where I talk about, we have to be in that right circle. And I'm so happy that I am in the circle, because they keeping me straight, okay? Keeping me straight over here. Dr. I want you to just share with us, how do we find you?
What? I don't know. Area. I'm everywhere. Look, no lie. People be like, when do you ever rest? But the thing is, I get my rest. I make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep. I'm one of those people who work at night. I don't talk to nobody before 10 o'clock. So don't call me, don't message me, don't text me before 10 o'clock unless you're in my immediate circle. And I might see it then. But you can really find me at my website, which is IamYolandaJerry.com. You can follow me on all social media, and my handle is YJ Empowers. And then all you have to do is just Google my name, and look, you'll find me somewhere on the internet.
Let me tell you, her SEO is strong, okay? But that's what it's all about. And she looks fabulous all the time. So you go on her website, you see all her designs and everything. And I love looking to see, okay, what's she wearing today? So what's going on today? And on her Facebook group page, also, which she didn't mention, but I am going to, every single day you have inspiration. Every single day you have inspiration. I'm not talking about you have two words. And she makes you think. Sometimes she gets all up in your business and you're like, girl, get out my head. Why you all up over here in my house? You stay over there in your house. She makes it. I do. That's what I'm talking to the screen. That's what I'm letting you know. But she's not just sitting there preachy to you. It's real life, because we have to be able to relate to people. We have to meet people where they are, right? Instead of trying to make them who we want them to be. Right. So, and that's so important. Oh, good. Right. Thank you so much, Brenda, for putting that on there. I am YolandaJerry.com. Hi, Wynetta. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah. And I'm intentional about that, because you never know what somebody could be dealing with in that moment at that time. It's just like, literally, after I get up in the morning and I done have my prayer, the next thing I do is to make sure that I put my message out every morning. It might not be the same time every morning, but I can guarantee you it's going to be somewhere between 7 and 9:30. When that message goes out every morning. I always thank God for waking us up and giving us another chance at life. And then I put out today's message. That's so important, because, again, somebody may need that word, and that word just may stop them from going over the cliff, and they might be like, you know what, I can take heed to this message. And sometimes when I'm putting a message out, sometimes it's for me too. It's not always just for the person that I'm, that's reading it on the other side. Sometimes I have to make sure that I'm reading that message to myself too, as well.
And that's good, because you know what? A lot of times we think everyone feels, oh, well, you're strong, and they see what we're doing. And this life over here, walking in the kingdom, when you believe in the Lord, it's not always, it's challenging. And then you're a Black woman, it's challenging. Mm-hmm. And you are a businesswoman, it's challenging. Mm-hmm. And then you're an influencer, it's challenging, Right. So, and then we have our own relationships. And what people don't realize, like we need encouragement too. Mm-hmm. Strong people, nobody wants to go and encourage you because Right. you're so strong.
Right.
They forget they're just, they suck the life out of us.
Oh yeah.
And we have to remember to go back and rejuvenate. Like you said, get those 8 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep. It's important. Be consistent. And sometimes, you know what? No, not sometimes, all the time. No is a complete sentence.
With an exclamation point.
Can you
I
expand
just
on
I
that?
just saw that the other day. I posted that earlier this week, you know.
Great
And
minds
so
think alike.
that's the other part too, I know my personal relationship with God. I know my walk, and yes, I'm going to I always say this, I'm half holy and I'm half hood because I will let you have it, you know, but then I will also make sure that I'm doing it in a nice way, but you're going to get the message. You understand? Because sometimes that's the only way you can get through to some people is when you be direct with them, you know, um, especially in business. Just like earlier today, earlier this week, I talked about reciprocal relationships. I'm no longer going in. If it's not, you have to be able to. You're pouring into people, but you want to make sure that you're being poured back into. And so, if they are always taking, 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 then what happens? You're empty. Like,
Right.
then what happens? You can't function when you're empty. So you need someone to be able to pour back into you. And that's personally, spiritually, and also in business. Like, for example, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm doing business with you, and I'm paying you, for a service, guess what? I'm going to get you right and I'm like, hey, you late on your invoice. I mean, I shouldn't sit there and tell you, but sometimes we get so busy in life that we not that we forget, we fall behind. But I want to make sure that people know that if I'm paying you for a service, I'm paying you for a business, I'm going to make sure that I'm on time with my payment. But we need more people like that. You have some people that they'll just let it go 2-3 months and be like, well, she didn't hit me up and said that I needed to pay her. No, it's also your responsibility too, as well, to make sure that you're paying people the money that you're supposed to be paying them, because they have families too. They have mouths to feed and they have bills to pay.
You know what? That is a mouthful, especially for someone like me who is new in this entrepreneurial walk. You feel a little guilty about, well, how much do I charge? Should it be? Is it too much? I'm in other folks' pockets. Now I have my own stuff, but I'm in somebody else's pockets. I'm limiting myself and limiting God. I'm playing God cheap, and I'm no longer doing that. I ain't
Well, let
playing
me
God
tell
cheap
you,
no more. We have to
the
ask for.
days are over. The days are over with the nickel and diamond. I'm sorry, because you can't. Gas is too high. Gas is going up. Meat, chicken has gone up. Let's just keep it real. Everything has gone up. So in order for you to be able to stay afloat, guess what? Your prices need to go up too. So don't only charge your work, but add some interest on top of that.
Okay, y'all, you heard her, right? Don't just charge, add interest on top. See, did we not say this is the empowerment advocate? You heard it from Dr. Yolanda Jerry, empowerment advocate. She's empowering us. And that, can you talk to us a little bit about that? How we as women can empower ourselves to say, if we have a business, we're going to charge more. If, we don't want to do something, it's not falling in alignment or it doesn't meet our schedule, we can say no. How do we get that empower ourselves to stand up to the other people?
Get out of that small business mentality and have a corporate mentality.
I told you she snatches edges. I told you, right? I
I'm
told
just
y'all.
saying, you got to. I mean, because small businesses, yes, you're a small business. I get it. You're growing. But eventually you want to get to where you're getting that corporate type money. So in order to sit there and get that corporate type money, you need to start thinking and executing that same way. You can't be a small business forever if you expect to grow. And eventually, if you're the CEO of a company, guess what? The CEO should not be working as hard as the worker. I'm sorry. You shouldn't, because now you're employing people, you're giving people jobs. You should be sitting here just overseeing.
Wow. And that is so, so true. I now, yes, I know on an application or something it says small business, but TrevisMichelle LLC, we're a company. I'm a Fortune 500 company. So I have to think like that. and being around like-minded people. I'm also in a coaching program. Look, they were like, stop saying we have to um, take away from ourselves. No, what we should be doing, instead of, she always uses, it's Rachel Rogers. She always says, yeah, those lattes, you save $1,400 for the year. Instead of saying you need to build wealth, what are you doing to add wealth to your life? Instead of our sitting there and thinking small and saying what we can't have. And that's right. The way you see yourself is the way other people will see you. Does that make sense?
That's it. And I always tell people, if you want to elevate and you want to continue to evolve, you have to invest in yourself in order for other people to believe and invest in you. For example, it goes back to you, Travis, when we were talking about this StreamYard thing. And I'm like, no, when you came to me and I asked you for your website, I was like, oh no, honey, we got to get this website right, but you took that as something that that, okay, well, if I'm a Fortune 500 company, I can't have a mediocre looking website. Nobody wants to go there. And but some people can't take that, somebody being real with them, but that my intentions are always pure, and look at you now. You got your website about to be blowing up. You got your show, you got your overlay you got your graphics, and that's you investing in yourself, just as I invested in myself. I can't, yeah, I can make graphics, but I don't want to do that. That's what I'm paying people for. Yeah, I can sit there and do a website if I took the time to learn, but I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm the expert in. Let me be the expert in what I do and pay people outside that are the experts to make me look good. Period.
Exactly. That's right. And that comes with also trusting. But if we have our systems in place, we hire someone. So I'm not ready to do that yet. Well, actually, I do have a small team because I have my web developer. I have GoFig, and I have EasyTree.me, Shawnee West. She's getting my systems together in the back end. So, and then I have, my coaches. But we have to make sure that when we're doing this, it's okay to say, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do the techie stuff. I know how. I have my Canva Pro. I could, but the API to integrate this, you know what it allows me to do, and I'm sure it allows you guys to procrastinate. That's what it does. It allows me to procrastinate. I was supposed to have an online course coming out in February. Then it was May. Then it was July. Now to be out for Freedom Friday. I'm just saying, y'all. But I kept procrastinating because I was like, oh, but I don't want to do this. And everybody makes you, not everybody, a lot of people make you feel less than if you don't do it yourself. You should hire somebody, because now it frees you up to what? Make money.
Right. Absolutely.
So that mindset has to. So now I'm going to take a quick commercial break. This is TrevisMichelle. Welcome to Late Night with TrevisMichelle. I am your host. So excited to see you. If you're on the replay, make sure that you share this out. If you're here live, I thank you so much for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule, to be with us. We are here every Wednesday, 10 p.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time. You are to put them chill in the bed, have your beverage of choice. Me and my guests, now we're going to be looking cute with eyelashes and everything, but you don't have to do that. You're going to have your pajamas on. We are going to be here for you, talking about the challenges people go through to get to that successful place. And that successful place is always elevating, but you want to know what steps are you taking so that you can stay what? Encouraged. Because sometimes you got to encourage yourself. There's a song, Encourage Yourself. But anywho, so that's what we're about here, the ugly side of the backstory. You can find me over on IG at TrevisMichelle, LinkedIn at TrevisMichelle, and I have a new YouTube at TrevisMichelle. So please go ahead and subscribe. Y'all work with me so I can get some numbers up. I'm putting it out there. I have a website, www.TrevisMichelle.com. That is going to be blowing up. I'm so excited. Created by GoFig. And let me tell you, I had new pictures done. So y'all, they all told me to retire the yellow. So I retired the yellow. But you got to start someplace. You got to start somewhere. Also, I'm speaking on the Women's Success conference. That is November 18th through the 21st. Make sure that you go to www.womensuccess. Well, I'm going to let Yolanda, Dr. Jerry, give the exact website so that you can go on there. It's free. We're going to have some dynamic speakers. You have to be in the house. There's no way for you to level up, power up, do better, be successful, walk in your power if you're not learning, if you're not in the right circles, if you're not putting yourself out there and being visible. So I just thank you so much. And now back to our guest, the wonderful Dr. Yolanda Jerry. So Dr. Yolanda Jerry, where will you be speaking? And tell us about this Women's Success Conference.
So the Women's Success Conference, the Success Women's Conference,
Sorry.
with that, the Success Women's Conference is coming up November 18th to the 21st. I'll be speaking there. Rita will be speaking there. You'll be speaking there. So look, it's three of us already. Look at that. You can actually go to, there's two different websites you can go to. You can go to successconference.info, or you can go to fearsandfocus.online.
Fears and Focus.
Online.
Online. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I put that in the chat for us, so we'll I'll put it on the screen so that you'll know, because you are going to learn, you are going to be empowered, whether it's through business, personal development, having fun, just how to get out there and enjoy yourself. Also, spiritually, if you need that encouragement and need a word, it's all there. And you know what? We're business women, because the only way to do it is to get out there and let people hear your voice. So now, Dr. Jerry, what do you have a framework that you use? I know you said you listen to people, and when they come and they have they're going through domestic violence, or they've been with trafficking and stuff. But what, do you have a certain framework that you have in place? Do you work with organizations that have safe houses? Because I know it's so important to have an exit plan. Can you just expand on that?
Right. So initially, when they reach out to me, it's basically just hearing them out, listening to where they are in their story. If it's immediate action, I end up sending them to two different places. So if it's local, then I'll send them to the Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence here in Mississippi, because it is a shelter. It's a disclosed location where there's no address that you can find where they are. Then there's also the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which I always refer them to, and that number is 1-800-799-7233, where they can actually call them, or they can go to the website too as well, which is thehotline.org, where they can chat with someone confidential, where there's confidentiality there too as well, to try to get them to where they need to be in their particular area. We also, have where we have group discussions. Sometimes I go to the shelter there, here locally, and just have conversations with these ladies. I also give them a copy of my book, just to kind of give them some encouragement too as well, because there's several stories of people who have endured domestic violence, and can give them some tips on how they got out, because everybody's escape and their exit is different.
Right.
But by them reading the book My Walk Past Hell, they can get some ideas of how to exit. But then we also write out an exit plan. There's a strategic way of being able to exit. Anybody that's going through domestic violence abuse, you shouldn't leave immediately, and definitely don't try to leave when the person is there. You want to make sure that you write your plan out, and make sure that once you leave, you can leave for good. They say it takes, up to 7 times for a person to leave successfully from a abusive relationship or a marriage, which is true. So you want to make sure that once you leave, you have all the things that you need. You have set in place, whether that's having a location where that abuser may not know that you're going to be going. Make sure you have enough money, funds set aside, savings to be able to sustain you to be able to eat, or provide you need to get a hotel room temporarily till you can get where you're going. You want to make sure that you have all your important documents and all your important papers: birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, insurance, those type things. Make sure you have that as well. And then When you're ready to leave, also discuss with your family and friends that you're really close with. Make sure that you have a code word that you use. So if the abuser is around you and you're in immediate danger, you can give them that code word and your family knows to, you know, call 911, or they know that, okay, I need to make sure I stay on the phone or stay near this text message to find out what's my next steps to be able to help them, leave wherever they are at that time. And there's a lot of other things that we go through too as well. But those are pretty much some of the gist of the things that I walk through with them.
Wow, that is really good. I do want to make sure you gave us the number. I did put up the website. But what is that phone number again? It's the domestic violence phone number.
It's 1-800-799-7233.
7233.
Mm-hmm.
1-800. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Because I think, when people when they need, we want to make sure that we're giving them the information, because I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, not with you, but some people, they get up and they give you all this information and then they leave you hanging.
Oh
And you're like,
yeah.
but where am I going? Who do I call? I need it, I need to be able to put it in my phone. I also want to share with everyone I found this out during the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which we know domestic violence is every single day. But that's the, National Awareness Month was last month. You put your hands up,
Mm-hmm.
your
That's
finger,
it.
and you close.
Mm-hmm.
And that will let people know that you are in danger and you're in need and you need help.
That's
And
it.
I try to do that on my shows now, to let people know, because it's real. It can be men. It's not, we always think of women, but there are women that are abusers too. They're
Mm-hmm.
people, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
we want to make sure, and people that have been on planes have actually been saved because they were going to be trafficked. So um, it's just so important that we share that. And people are saying where they're in from. Kay has my back. She's
Yeah.
in here in the
Neighbors.
back.
Hey neighbors.
We have NYC in the house. We have Mississippi in the house. We're so excited. Y'all put in here where you're coming from, because it makes me feel good. We have Florida in the house, right? And two, Adriana and Davida are in Florida. It's nice to see that there's just people from all over who have come in to say hello and to be
Right.
a part of this, because this, what I'm doing, is not about me.
That's right.
I mean, it's nice. Yeah, you see me and, I got my little stuff going on. I'm getting sweaty because I'm getting a fever. But I'm just saying, it's not about TrevisMichelle. It's about my message. That journey I went through, because I've had traumas, that was because I had to turn my mess into a message.
Right.
So the guests that I have on, they're for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's to help you. And
That's
I'm just
it.
so thankful that everybody is so happy to come on and share. And I'm here at night at 10 p.m. because I'm real talk. I don't fit in the daytime. I know I don't. I can, I know how to be professional and all, but this is like, we want to be able to just share, have real talk, have that opportunity for women to just relax and
Mm-hmm.
love on each other.
Speaking of that, let me go on and sip my new drink. This is Coca-Cola with coffee. And this is the what is this? The caramel flavor. I saw this in Walmart today. No lie. Let me go and show you. There you go. I saw this in Walmart today, and I
Coca.
was like, I said that, and I don't drink soda all the time, and I would tell you that I cannot drink those energy drinks. Them little
Yeah.
nasty energy drinks. They taste like medicine. It's gross. So I was like, well, let me try this. If I can get my caffeine, and then still have my little coffee taste because I love coffee. I say that it will work for me. So this is it. This is one of my new drinks. So if y'all see me with this is my new thing.
Wow. And
Coca-Cola with
it tastes
coffee.
good.
It does. It does.
You're not going to be up all night.
If I'm up all night, then I'll be doing some work. So I'm gonna be productive.
Oh, okay. Now, okay, these last few minutes, now that we've done all of, we know how wonderful you are. We know how to find you. We know if you have domestic violence, you snatched our edges about empowering us and stuff. Now, We want to know, how is it as a businesswoman and having a love life? Because that's something that's not easy for us to navigate. And some of us with the COVID, we don't have a love life. So how do you like incorporate and find that partner that you can work with, that you actually can bounce off of and you integrate, as opposed to it's you and it's me, that you really have been able to co-join, but still
Mm-hmm.
be individual.
Mm-hmm. You have to have, this is a thing, you have to have that conversation up front. I will tell you with Frank and I, we had that conversation up front. The good thing is we both were business owners, so we both knew that we would be busy. But we also knew that we had to make sure that there was balance and we make time for each other. So we had to be intentional about when we talk, which is we make sure that we talk every morning, we pray, and we make sure we talk at night. Even if there's, some sporadic conversations in a day, we're intentional about our morning and our night conversations. We are intentional about our travel, who's going to see who, because we are in different locations, so we're intentional about making sure we see each other often. We're intentional about dates via Zoom or StreamYard, watching movies, playing games, eating, having our little drink here. um, and then most of all, what's really helped us is being intentional about having the therapy up front instead of getting the therapy when a problem arises.
Wow.
Okay. So we made sure that we seen a relationship therapist in the beginning of our relationship, because a lot of times, we are older, we have gone through some stuff and we have some junk, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yes, we
Mm-hmm.
have dealt with some of those things, but there's some other things that therapists can pull out of us that we didn't even know was there that we have to deal with. And so that's another thing that helped us in our relationship, to where it's like now it's just like we unstoppable. You can't stop us because we are so in sync with each other. It's crazy and bananas. And I'm just like, wow, this is really happening. But we pour into each other and we lean on each other's strength and weaknesses. So where I fall weak, he's my strength and vice versa.
Wow. Now that is excellent. And you know what I like? You said that you did the relationship, you went to therapy.
Hmm.
A lot of people, they're going to wait until there's a problem, right? Don't fix it until there's a problem instead of, and it's true, we each have our own, you know, hopefully small baggage. I only have like a little purse, very small, because I had to
Hmm.
go through therapy, but it's still baggage, right? We still have a
Right.
history. We can't erase our history. So the fact that you will together decided, and it's a black man, and he said, okay, I'm going to do this. That's huge.
Yeah.
And hats off to you, King. But that is huge. And I wanted to ask you that. Thank you for being transparent and answering, because you didn't have to. But we need to hear that.
Hmm.
If it's working and this is something positive, we need to hear that. Single sisters out here, okay, and single brothers, okay, kings and queens. We need to know that, yeah, have that conversation. Was it tough having that conversation, saying, we need to go to therapy?
Initially, in our mind, we'd be like, we don't need to go to therapy. But, and I would tell you, we weren't always in sync. You got to remember, in the beginning of a relationship, you're still trying to figure each other out. So there are going to be times where, something may have triggered you and you may have gotten into an argument. And when you see things where it's like, okay, we are really out of sync. So how do we get ourselves back to where we need to be in sync? When both parties recognize that we need to take a time out and say, you know what? If we want to be together for a long period of time, we need to figure out other ways to make this work outside of us. He's somebody that's unbiased, not a family member, not a friend.
Right.
Yes, we got God, and we have prayer, but prayer without, and faith without works is dead. You still got to do the work. So you can have God all day, every day, but you still have to be intentional about putting in the work too as well, so those two can mesh together. And that's what we did. We was intentional about the therapy, and I'm thankful that we did go through that, because it allowed us to see a whole lot of us that we didn't see in us.
Right.
Because when you get into an argument with somebody or you have a disagreement with somebody, you're always fighting to have your voice heard, but you're not really listening to what the other person is saying.
Right.
You're listening to respond and instead of listening to really be listening. And so that's one of the things that we've learned, and our communication has been like crazy good. And then the other thing about the relationship too, and we've already put this out there as well, is keeping the lust of the flesh outside of your relationship. We made a commitment to not partake into any sexual activity until we got married. That was a commitment we made to each other. Now, a lot of times you'll have some men, even some women, and be like, "Nah, I'm not doing that," because I mean, I get it. You desire someone, you desire to be with them, but sometimes when you mix that intimate physical piece, everything that you were trying to do goes out the window, and now it's just your body designed to be with this person, want to be around them all the time. Oh, I want to sit there and jump your bones. I want to do this and want to do that. Well, what about God? Where's God in
Right.
all of this?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know what? See, this is why we're on at 10 o'clock. We can get in the ugly side of the backstory and be real. And
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Because come on now, as my girlfriend used to tell me, he laid a pipe right, he gets extra time.
That's it.
So and we're emotional creatures. So what are we going to do? Well, you know what? It was good. So I'll put up with it because the sex was good.
That's right.
Let's just be real. Okay, maybe I'm the only one over here that way, but I'm going to put myself out there. Well, yeah, I don't want to have to start over, and we'll just put up with crap,
And
and
you're
then
overlooking.
we don't look at the red flags because our flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So that thank you for sharing that. Because his being a pastor also, that's a question, right?
Yep.
People are like, yeah, but how do people who are pastors date? And of course everybody dates differently, but it's nice to see that you made a decision because now you can think clearly. You can
That's
actually
right.
see them for who they are without that sexual flesh emotion, which that kind of covers everything. So when you
Right.
do, it's like mind blowing. I'll be in New
Yeah.
York going, "Woo, what's that fireworks, man? What was that?"
Right. And like just like he said when we was on the interview, not long ago on somebody else's show, it's okay to have sexual attention. That's healthy. It's healthy to have sexual attention in your relationship because that lets you know that you really desire this person.
Right. Oh, come on now. What? That's what I'm talking about. There's hope for us single women out here. Okay. I'm just saying, y'all, because I'm taking my time because I'm working on my business and they're going to have to work. They're going to have to, what? And it's not that I'm being difficult, but they're going to have to court me. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that. We go for the quick, dirty, the quick, easy, say a couple of words, and then we don't do the real work to get to know someone.
Right.
So there, we can be patient.
That's
It's
it.
worth it in the end because I'm so happy to see you find love. Your walk past hell, to see you now on the upswing. This is awesome. But we had to go through in order to
That's it.
appreciate, right? And to set us up for where we're supposed to be. So I just thank you so much for coming on here today, Dr. Yolanda Jerry. Like I have her
You're
personal number.
welcome.
I'm just saying I'm real. I'm really but just so happy to know you. You're such a beautiful person inside and out. And thank you again for sharing. So, what are some passing closing words you'd like to say to us?
you know, I think this has been my new two words the past couple of months, and not only because Pastor Frank Henderson actually did a series on it, but it's true. Just be you. Be you. Don't worry about what the naysayers say. Don't worry about what other people got to say. Be who God has called you to be and walk out in your purpose like you're supposed to. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about social media just because you got one or two likes. Believe me, they're watching. So you just keep moving. So just be authentically you and keep going. And when you are in that place where you feel like you're in a rut, you know where your help comes from.
That's
Seek the
right.
Father. And if all else fails, call on that friend that you always have to hold you accountable and to snatch you right back up and be like, come on, girl, get out of your pity party. It's time to make sure that you do what you're supposed to be doing. Don't leave them there that long. But just be you. That's all I can say is just be you and stop worrying about the naysayers.
Thank you so much. And of course, I'm going to have to let her, her gentleman, our king that's on here tonight, Pastor Frank Henderson says, I got to say that as a pastor, I'm still a regular dude that appreciates my lady. Thanks for helping all of the people you blessed tonight. Great job. Pure honesty. Great job, ladies. Thank you so much for that, saying those kind words. Pastor Henderson, can hardly wait to meet you. And it's nice to, I might have to invite you on the show. So just to let you know, you got to come on the show because we need our men. We need to hear from a man's perspective as women. We always know everything, all right? But we really need to hear from a man's perspective how to walk this walk, and as a pastor, and that you are, you made a
Well,
flesh
look,
like everybody else.
I'm just gonna tell y'all right now, if you get him on your show, all the ladies that's paying attention, all the guys that's paying attention, get ready to be schooled. So you're gonna have to get your note paper and your pen and be ready to take notes because that's how he works. He gonna make sure you understand what he's saying, and you're gonna be getting them like, oh, that's good. Let me write that down. Oh, that's good. Let me write that down. I learn a lot from him, so I want to make sure people understand and we are clear. Just because I'm walking with God and I know my relationship with God, you can always still learn from your mate. He's my helpmate, and I'm always learning from him.
Well, then you are officially invited, Dr. Pastor Henderson. So I will be in touch with you. I am just thanking you, all of you, for coming on tonight, for making TrevisMichelle what it is, because it's all about you, the ugly side of the backstory. Let's talk about our challenges. Let's, instead of saying it's so hard, it's challenging, but a challenge you can overcome. When you just say it's hard, it's almost like you're stuck with that mindset. But when you say it's a challenge, it's a mind shift so that you are
That's
open to
it.
possibilities. You're open to growth. You're open to prosperity. You're open to change. So make sure that you continue to join this community every Wednesday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell everybody about it because we're going to have wonderful, wonderful guests on next week. I have a young lady coming on who literally started me on my way, on my journey of having speaking and having my business. And she helps people out in Bed-Stuy here in Brownsville and Brooklyn, which is a lower income. And she started out doing the pageants because as Black kids, you don't have the money. And she has now, it's gone Destiny's Helpers Outreach. She is so big. So she is going to be on here next week. The week after that, I'm going to go ahead and tell you because I'm hyped. We're going to have the authors of Radical Women, the visionary Ayana Ambrose. Guess what? Saving Lives or Fighting for Mine. She was the visionary. And it's like a year ago, I've been coming on people's show and I now have a show and have the authors on. So we're just excited. There's more coming. Stay tuned. Just remember, this is Late Night with TrevisMichelle. I am TrevisMichelle. Too much for some, not enough for others, but I'm always just right for me. God bless and see you next week. Bye-bye.